June 3, 1924. A man dies in a sanatorium outside Vienna. His last wish is simple: burn all my manuscripts, publish nothing. His best friend, Max Brod, holds the letter, then deliberately drops it into a fire. But here's the thing: his best friend completely ignores him, and because of that betrayal, we now call entire feelings Kafkaesque. We name anxiety after this man who wanted to disappear. This is the story of Franz Kafka, a man who worked in an insurance office by day, wrestled with nightmares by night, and accidentally became one of the most influential writers of the 20th century after he died. Prague, 1883. Franz Kafka is born into a middle-class Jewish family in a city that doesn't quite know what it is. Not quite German, not quite Czech, not quite Austrian. Kafka grows up feeling like a man without a country, which, spoiler alert, becomes his entire vibe. His father, Hermann, is a self-made merchant, loud, physical, confident. Everything young Franz is not. Imagine being a sensitive kid who loves literature while your dad keeps asking, "When are you going to do something real?" So Franz does what any anxious overachiever does. He gets a law degree and takes a soul-crushing job at the Workers' Accident Insurance Institute. Yes, you heard that right. The man who wrote the Metamorphosis spent his days processing workplace injury claims. But here's where it gets interesting. By day, he's the perfect bureaucrat, punctual, efficient, polite. By night, he transforms. From 11 p.m. to 3 a.m., he writes. Stories about men turning into insects, about being arrested for crimes you don't understand, about castles you can never reach. His co-workers had no idea they were eating lunch with a genius. He was living a double life, like a superhero, except his superpower was anxiety.
Let's talk about Kafka's love life. And by love life, I mean romantic disasters that could each be their own novel. First, there's Felice Bauer. They meet at a dinner party in 1912. Kafka is immediately smitten. They get engaged, they break up, they get engaged again, they break up again. Over 5 years, they exchange over 500 letters, but spend maybe a few weeks together in person. Why? Because Kafka believed marriage would destroy his writing. He wrote to Felice, "I am nothing but literature and can and want to be nothing else." Imagine getting that text. Then there's Julie Warazek. Another engagement, another breakup. Then Milena Jasenska, a brilliant journalist he falls deeply for, but she's married. More letters, more longing, more impossibility. See a pattern? Kafka was a master of writing about loneliness and isolation, and he lived it. He craved connection, but built walls. He wanted love, but feared it would consume him. Very Kafkaesque, if you will. 1915. Kafka publishes The Metamorphosis, a story about a traveling salesman who wakes up one morning transformed into a giant insect. His family is horrified. They lock him away. He dies alone. Critics are confused. Some are intrigued. Most people ignore it. Kafka thinks it's a failure. Cut to today, it's taught in every literature class on Earth. Why? Because it captures something we all feel. That moment when you wake up and you're not who you thought you were. When the people who should love you suddenly see you as a burden. When existence itself feels absurd. The trial, a man is arrested but never told why. The castle, a man tries to reach authorities who won't see him. In the penal colony, a torture machine that literally writes your sentence onto your body. These aren't just stories, they're prophecies. Kafka wrote about faceless bureaucracies, about guilt without cause, about systems that crush individuals. And then the 20th century made it all real. Totalitarianism, the Holocaust, surveillance states. Kafka died in 1924. Hitler came to power in 1933. Kafka's three sisters were murdered in concentration camps. His work became a warning we didn't heed. By 1917, Kafka is coughing up blood. Tuberculosis, the 19th century's greatest killer. There's no cure. He knows he's dying. He spends his final years bouncing between sanatoriums and his sister's house. He can barely eat. His throat is destroyed. But he keeps writing. In 1923, 1 year before his death, he finally finds something like happiness. Her name is Dora Diamant. She's 25, he's 40. They move to Berlin together. For a brief moment, Kafka experiences actual domestic life. But his body is giving up. By June 1924, he can't speak. He communicates by writing notes. Even dying, he's writing. His last note to the doctors, "Kill me, or else you are a murderer." He dies at 40 years old. Fewer than 200 people attend his funeral. The obituaries are brief. One calls him a minor writer of Prague.
Remember that letter, Burn Everything? Max Brod takes one look at his friend's unpublished novels, The Trial, The Castle, America, and thinks, absolutely not. He publishes them, all of them, against Kafka's explicit wishes. And suddenly, the world discovers what it had missed. By the 1940s, Kafka is being taught in universities. By the 1960s, Kafkaesque enters the dictionary. Today, you can't discuss modern literature, existentialism, or absurdism without him. Was Max Brod wrong to ignore his friend's dying wish? Maybe, but here's the thing about Kafka. He was his own worst critic. He saw failures where we see masterpieces. He wanted to vanish, but his words refused to disappear. Franz Kafka spent his life feeling like he didn't belong, like he was watching the world through glass, like existence was a joke he wasn't in on. He once wrote, "A book must be the axe for the frozen sea within us." Kafka was that axe, and the ice is still breaking. The man who taught us it's okay to feel like an insect sometimes.